Promises. They're always broken. It's human nature. And these days, it's so easy to get sidetracked and not follow through with your words. We keep burying ourselves in the promises that we make, not knowing for certain whether we'll actually keep them. What was the last promise you made? Did you keep it? Or did you break it? Maybe it was, I'll call you later. We'll definitely keep in touch. Of course not, I won't tell anyone. Over and over again, we confine ourselves in these promises, not knowing whether we'll actually follow them through. But it's the promises that we make to ourselves. I'll read that book. And then you never even touch it again. I'll get up earlier. And then you wake up 10 minutes late. The promises that we make to ourselves are the ones which are most easily and frequently broken. But when followed through, these promises have so much potential to change our lives. But we can't keep them because we either forget or don't have enough self-discipline. However, there are some people who are generally better at keeping promises than others. And if you are that person, you're someone I aspire to be like. But if you're not, think about why. This is the point in many TED Talks where I reveal some amazing feat of self-discipline and promises that I've made to myself. I was 10 when I promised myself that I'd go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but I didn't. 2 summers ago, I promised myself that I'd read a ton of books, but I didn't. And did I go a year without breaking my promise to call or text someone back when I said I would? No. But I'm at a point in my life where I haven't properly achieved anything yet. But there is a certain promise I've made, and there's nothing that will stop me from following it through. People who know me know that I do tend to hand in my homework on time. I do call my parents back when I say I will. So I think I can say that I'm quite good at keeping the little promises. That being said, what about the bigger ones? How do I ensure that I keep my bigger promises? What better way than to make it in front of millions of people on a TED Talk? But before I go on and make my promise, I'm going to tell you a little story. I've been lucky to receive a range of opportunities in my life. 3 years ago, when I was asked whether I wanted to go to Disneyland or to Nepal, I chose Nepal and have never regretted it. The following years, I also went to Tanzania and to Borneo to undertake in charity work and help in the development of local services. In Nepal, I stayed in the heart of Kathmandu and experienced the small alleyways of stalls of people desperately trying to sell anything that they could. Their stalls were full of vibrant colours and had different garments hanging around. I was surprised when the local people greeted me so warmly into the area. I didn't know anyone there apart from my school friends, but it didn't take long to become friends with these local people. I'll never forget how they greeted me so warmly and instantaneously into their community. After Nepal, there was no stopping me from exploring more of the world. I wanted to continue exploring and look at more social work. And Tanzania gave me this opportunity, and I fell in love with all the local people who interacted with me throughout the trip. In Tanzania, my friends and I would walk a short distance to a local secondary school where I was introduced to the lives of some of these local children. We also helped in desk making, construction and painting. I remember when I first got there, a child ran up to me enthusiastically, grabbed my hand and started showing me around his school. He was so happy with it. The school wasn't what you call in great condition, but he was happy. The bricks, they were crumbling apart. It was dark and it lacked colour. But he was happy. Seeing how differently they lived compared to us was something I couldn't understand. Why did they not receive the same opportunities that people like you and I do? And without these opportunities, how are they ever going to make any type of contribution into this world? I don't know. But what I do know is that this particular incident triggered a switch to make me absolutely determined to keeping my promise. The following year, I travelled to Borneo and experienced life in the rural communities and people's warmness and generosity in the area. I also learnt traditional ways of cooking, singing and dancing, as well as helping the local people in an aspiring program of forest regeneration. I had learnt so much within those 3 years. Simple things, such as you could learn so much about someone just from talking to them. And when I came back home, sat down and properly reflected on everything that I had seen and that I had experienced, there was nothing more in this world that I wanted to do than to keeping this promise. And now I'm going to make my promise. Now that I have made my promise, what you have to understand is that promises, they're for yourself, to yourself. So I'm not going to tell you my promise, but one day, when I have fulfilled it, you'll know.